In 2009, Netflix revealed a 127-page slide deck that transformed the way that hundreds of software companies build teams, develop talent, and pursue software development. This story about principled software developers, video rental late fees, and picking up the trash lying on the floor demonstrates how building teams around the idea of freedom and responsibility creates success. Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph launched Netflix in 1998 with the goal of delivering video rentals by mail and putting video rental late fees to bed. Whether you believe the origin story or not, at the time, it wasn't uncommon to owe more in late fees to Blockbuster than it would have cost to buy the video. The Netflix business model allowed them to reach a larger audience for lower costs than traditional video stores. They developed a personalized movie recommendation engine that was the first of its kind. You could go in and rate videos on a 1 to 5 scale, and it would give you movie recommendations that were completely obscure. For me, things I'd never heard of, and movies I really enjoyed watching. In 2000, they offered themselves to Blockbuster for $50 million, but Blockbuster declined, laughing them out of their office. The dot-com crash in 2001 ripped a chasm in the tech industry. Tech companies who depended on cash infusions from venture capitalists to grow their businesses had their backs against the wall when VC money dried up. Most of them didn't make it, but Netflix went public.
Netflix employees celebrated the return of the Internet IPO today. Netflix represents one of the few successes in an otherwise dissolute technology sector.
In the face of a cash influx and set for hypergrowth, they had a plan to move from physical delivery to video streaming. Vigilant about rapid team growth that could dilute their talent and slow them down, Netflix's chief talent officer, Patty McCord, started working on a set of novel tenets informed by conversations with staff in the early 2000s.
That we've ended up with systems that treat people like they're children, and they're not. Fully formed adults walk in the door every single day.
They settled on 5 key principles: hire, reward, and tolerate only fully formed adults, tell the truth about performance, managers own the job of creating great teams, leaders own the job of creating the company culture, good talent managers think like business people and innovators first and like HR people last. Based on the premise that they hired adults, Netflix threw out their rules and corporate policies, and in 2009 released the Netflix Culture Deck. This 127-page slide deck, which has been hailed as one of the most important documents to ever come out of Silicon Valley, allowed them to keep moving quickly without stifling innovation. 7 aspects of their culture defined how they work together and how the company operates going forward. I've picked out about a dozen timeless concepts from the deck that I think define a framework for success today. The first cultural aspect of having a set of core values may sound commonplace. Most companies have a set of core values that define how they make decisions and allow people to operate independently. At most companies, these platitudes aren't reinforced by behaviors and practices of management or their teams. Netflix upheld their values by using them to determine who gets rewarded, who gets promoted, and who gets let go. Netflix also recognized that talent begets talent. Smart, talented people want to work with other smart, talented people. Hiring this way creates an exponential intelligence factor with multifaceted benefits. You can move more quickly with less process, better judgment, and more accountability. By hiring and retaining only the top talent in the field, it would enable them to keep hiring top talent. They recognize that while hard work might pay off, that isn't the metric that defines success. More importantly, effective people and teams deliver under high pressure and tight deadlines. And they recognize that even if you're good, you can't stay if you create conflict with colleagues. They realize that paying more for top talent and supporting their efforts pays off. Perhaps the most critical notion of the Netflix culture was responsibility. Let's go through this one, as I think responsibility glues the entire deck together. Assuming your culture will evolve over time, this characteristic is the fulcrum that everything else is balanced around. A responsible person is self-motivating, self-aware, self-disciplined, self-improving, acts like a leader, and doesn't wait to be told what to do. They never feel like it isn't their job, pick up trash lying on the floor, and they behave like an owner. I particularly like the point about picking up trash lying on the floor. Redundant with the idea of behaving like an owner, it tangibly illustrates that Netflix wanted people who think outside of their domain and focus on what really matters. It simultaneously captures the sentiment that you're part of a team that looks out for each other, and you must take pride in your work. To attract and retain responsible people, they wanted to create an environment that would support them. As companies grow, a tendency to remove freedom by introducing more rules and policies can take over. There's a trend of requiring more stages of approval and reviewing what's built on the fear that new people can't be trusted to make the decisions that founders would make. But usually, if you hire good people, specialized in what they do, they can do it better. The terrible side effect of treating your top talent, the rare responsible person, like children who can't be trusted to make good decisions, drives them out. The culture you create inherently attracts and defines the makeup of your staff. If you create more rules, you drive out those who don't need rules, and you retain the ones that do need rules, which means that you need to create even more structure for the ones who stick around. This is a death spiral. Netflix believed that if you hired adults, you should be able to treat them like adults, and this mutual respect meant eliminating a rules-based organization and only defining rules where needed. At the same time, complexity must be minimized. Teams need to focus on building many small products instead of few large ones. In 2008, Netflix started a migration away from their own homegrown back-end platform to Amazon Web Services. The migration took them 7 years, but they rewrote everything as smaller components in the process. Using rules and process only where absolutely necessary, such as preventing irrecoverable disaster or moral, ethical, and legal issues, allows responsible people to thrive at the company. Rapid disaster recovery allows teams to move more quickly and also ensures that teams build software capable of quickly recovering from problems. When Netflix threw out the rules, they meant it. They discarded policies around expenses, travel, and even vacation policy. They recognized that they don't track how many hours per day that people work, so it didn't make sense to keep track of how many days per week people work. This principle has been adopted by hundreds of tech companies since, although most of them do it carelessly. They refer to it as unlimited vacation and fail to fully recognize the responsibility as the cultural counterpart required for it to work properly. The culture at Netflix worked because they required all of these ingredients that create a system of checks and balances. The effects of one ensure the success of the others, and managers take responsibility by requiring themselves to set the proper context for success. They avoid a culture of blame by asking what context they failed to set when something goes wrong. To keep top talent, any concerns about compensation need to be taken off the table. Since top people get more done, the strategy pays for itself. They simplified the job offer to make the value of their total compensation package easier to understand. By throwing out the questionable practice of making stock options a built-in value proposition for new hires and doing away with bonuses, candidates could quantify the offer more easily. They recognized that sometimes people need to leave the company. Fundamentally, they created a culture that supports effective teamwork of high-performance people. This inspired culture of freedom and responsibility created a ripple in the tech industry, causing many companies to emulate it with some modifications, or realize the importance of defining their own culture. Many startups since have learned how to live by their values, attach them to their vision, and do remarkable things with incredibly small teams. They live their culture instead of using the values as platitudes, recognizing that people can't be what they can't see. I believe that these key aspects of Netflix culture paint a recipe for success. Many organizations caught up in their mission drive only the effort to deliver their product without thinking about how to do it. Netflix recognized that spending more money on high-performance, more effective people delivers more value than trying to build the most affordable team. Many entrepreneurs start with a mission and a vision, explicitly recognizing why they get out of bed in the morning, but Netflix followed through on that vision with what so many companies ignore. They thought about how they would execute on that vision and designed a framework that would invite people who shared their beliefs to join the company, put it to paper, and practice the discipline.